What do you feel when you look at this picture? What's your first feeling coming?
Well, this was a very historic moment for me, a very emotional moment. Having grown up under apartheid, for me it was the beginning of a new era, where white and black people could finally at least have an opportunity to explore what it'd be like to live together as equal humans.
It means a great deal, actually, because I don't think a lot of South Africans that lived probably 20 years ago thought they'd ever see that moment, or see a black and a white man standing next to each other, hand in hand. And yet us, my friends and I, went to multiracial schools, you know. We considered other white kids as friends.
I went through high school, university with different races, and it was wonderful, you know, sharing different cultures, perspectives. Otherwise I would never have had that opportunity, so it's very good.
Being young at that time, I remember my mom saying to me, like, you have a future now. And that was, I'm gonna cry because I remember that moment, yeah. Like, that was the one thing that I remember about that time.
Many people started having hope that, okay, at least things will start looking right, you know, it's freedom for many of us. But then I have my own issues again on this, because not all of us were free after this day.
Considering what we thought we would achieve, or what we thought we would gain, it doesn't materialize, hasn't materialized. And we are just in apartheid in reverse, if I could say that. And this is apartheid not between the black and white. This is apartheid between economics, between the rich and poor.
What do you think of F.W. de Klerk?
I think he's a very brave man to have gone against his government and to have done what he did. I really admire him.
He was a freedom fighter. That's what I know about him. He was the one who made us to have this kind of freedom that we are having right now.
So you would call Mandela a freedom fighter, but also the other man de Klerk, right?
Yes, they are both the freedom fighters. If it weren't for them, I don't think South Africa would look like this.
They say he's a great guy, but I think that was made for us to believe. Whether he was there or not, because of the pressure that we're receiving from all kinds of nations, they had to end apartheid. Whether they liked it or not, apartheid had to end.
I'm not sure about FW. I'm not really sure to what extent he was motivated by kind of philanthropic human kind of values, or whether it was the writing was on the wall and he was forced to make the concessions and so move towards New South Africa.
He was a great president. What he did for the country, he deserves the accolades of being a leader who stood his ground at that given time. You know what he did for the country when he released all the political prisoners, what he did when he said all those who were in exile should come back home. That was a great achievement for us.
So he will be remembered as a great leader, or?
Yes, of course. I don't have to not take a credit away from him for the fact that he accepted that, yes, now is the time for releasing and for giving freedom to these people. Comparing with other people, they couldn't bow to pressure. If you can look at other political leaders outside who are into power, they're not willing to release power to people. They want to retain it.
I think he took a great risk. I think it took him a lot, you know, and a great deal of consideration, you know, because his whole government could have turned on him.
Gosh, without him, I don't think this would have been possible. I know Nelson Mandela is, you know, the main freedom fighter, but I think de Klerk, he paved the way.
Big ups to this guy. If it wasn't for this guy, we wouldn't be free, many of us, you know. He was the smart guy. He said, okay, I mean, it's about time now that you have a black president. I think if we saw things the same as this guy did, South Africa would have been places by now. Unfortunately, we don't see things the same. That's the sad story about this good picture.